Welcome back to another episode of the I'm Not a Hater podcast. Check this out. This is Mr. Brown. We just gonna get right into it. All right. So last week I did an episode on mental health, coming from the men's perspective since it is Men's Mental Health Month. A lot of people watch the clips, which I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart because that means that you guys are paying attention to what I'm posting and agree, disagree, whatever the case is. I put out a post about reasons why men don't normally open up. And I was challenged to put into proper context why men don't open up. So I'm gonna just jump right in and get started. Listen, men don't open up because of a few reasons, and I'm only give a few, and then I'm gonna just keep moving, right? So men, right? And I have gone through this, and many others have gone through this, but we got pressure to be tough, be this masculine guy from you know when we're younger, right? We told not to cry. We always been told to man up. So when it comes to having feelings or being sad, we don't tend to share because we've been told to, that's not tough to, cry or share your feelings, right? I can count on the my hands probably the most times I've cried as an adult, you know? Um, and you just keep your emotions bottled up, which isn't a good thing because then you end up exploding on people. But that's a societal factor into why men don't have safe spaces or don't like to share their feelings, right? So another reason, men also deal with this judgment um that they're going to face or ridicule that they may face by whether it be peers or women or just in general, right? The community in general, if you are sharing your feelings and your struggles. So we don't tend to do it. We just put our heads down and just keep moving on as if nothing happens, right? um we don't want to show our vulnerable sides for the fear that it'll be used against you. And when I say used against you, um in arguments, not somebody calling you broke or lazy or anything like that, because if you ain't broke or lazy, it ain't gonna bother you. But you're not showing your feelings, you're not crying, you're not doing any emotional outbursts because you don't want that to be like, oh, well, you angry and then you gonna blow up again, and that so you just don't do it at all, or you do it elsewhere. um, and then we weren't taught how to show our emotions, okay? We don't know how to identify some of our emotions, and we don't know how to communicate them healthy, right? We don't know how to communicate them in a way that it won't come out as anger. If we just come have a conversation, most men don't know how to do that because again, they weren't taught how to have those conversations, right? And most men also have trust issues. It is what it is. Don't know where it comes from. um it's probably something that started when we were younger. We just have trust issues about sharing our feelings and letting our feelings go, and we don't do it. You know, those are the reasons why we don't feel that we have safe spaces. It's not because women are just um you know going to take it and use it against us. That's not the only reason, but men just don't feel like people care. Okay. And if you don't feel like somebody cares, and this goes for both men and women, if you don't feel like nobody cares, you ain't gonna say nothing. You just gonna keep moving as though everything is cool and it is what it is. And you may write it down, or if you journal or diary, you may write it down. But most people, if nobody's showing any interest in what you feeling or got going on, ain't gonna say a word. And that's probably one of the top reasons that men don't share their feelings. Um, you need a network that a group of friends or something you can confide in. I said this last week. If you want to, um but most men feel like, those are my boys, they're my partners, they don't need to know my feelings. And that's wrong, because if they're your true blue friends, they're gonna be there to offer you advice and could help you. Maybe they've been through some of the situations. Like, some of it is men have to get out of their own ways, right? We got to get out our own way and our old way of thinking and try to do something different. And if you do something different about it, then you'll feel different. But if you continue to do the same thing, then you're never going to feel like there's a safe space. So there are ways that you can defeat this whole notion of men don't have safe spaces, you can create some safe spaces amongst yourself and others. But most men won't take the time to do it, unfortunately. It's sad to say, but that's just, until we feel it's worth it or we feel it's necessary, it won't happen. You could try to pull and pull and pull, but if we don't feel like it's good for us at the point in time, we're not going to do it. And that's just what it is. So until we feel comfortable, there won't be a safe space there for us. Once we feel comfortable and opening up and trust that the what we say and venting will stay right there, you'll get everything from us. And that's just what it is. Now, moving on. Government shutdown continues. SNAP benefits in question. Some states got them, some states don't. I see in Connecticut that the governor, Ned Lamont, has released SNAP benefits. If somebody out there is, I hate to do this, but if somebody out there on SNAP benefits, could you please let me know if you received yours for this month? And then I'll know if the governor was telling the truth or just a false headline. But listen, this government shutdown is still dangerous. They don't even know what they're fighting for anymore. And with the Democrats winning most of the elections that were broadcast over this past Tuesday, is this a sign of change to come? Or is it just a facade, smoke and mirrors? I really believe that it's a sign of change to come. I think people are tired of the Republican ways. I think MAGA, Donald Trump, I think they've done enough. I think people have had enough. And I think people are looking for that change again. And now it's changing back over to the Democrats. My advice to the Democrats is don't drop the ball this time. Make a change. Do what you need to do to get the American people back on your side and, you know, bring America back and, dare I say, make America great again. Um, Listen, this is a music take for the 40 plus crew. Okay, the Grammys been announced and the clips, like I said a couple months ago, surprise album of the year, nominated for at least I think it's 5 Grammys. If they do not get a Grammy, it is unjust. That was one of the best orchestrated albums I've heard in a while. Okay, Malice and Pusha T did they A1 rapping on this one. Pharrell did a masterful job on the music. It was mixed well, engineered perfectly. The features were on point. Tyler the Creator, Kendrick Lamar, Nas. It's definitely worth the rap album of the year for sure. I would even challenge it's worth the album of the year in a whole. And I just feel like the clips deserve it because they, the run that they went on um as far as putting everything together with the interviews and the way that they rolled out the project, like all that. But that doesn't, count as Grammys, but or count you in for a Grammy. But it's just everything the way it just all flowed together. And I just feel like they deserve, um, amongst all the rap culture nowadays and all the artists that are out and nominated, I feel like they had the best album. Now that's no shade to any other artist that's nominated, but I just feel like for the clips to come back after a 15, 16-year hiatus and drop a masterpiece, they deserve to have that Grammy to wrap all this whole entire run up, um, as they, continue on in their musical journey. And that's just, my piece on that. Um, Man, let me see what else is going on in the world. Listen, I hope that everybody out there is making their way, right? Life gets tough, things happen. Um, hope you're not contemplating giving up. If you are, just know that change is on the way. Um, Good things are coming in your favor. You just have to keep pushing at it, keep pushing at it, keep working. And the more, even if it's small steps, even if it's baby steps, the more you do it, the better off that you'll end up and that you'll be. I'm telling you now that, listen, the road gets tough, but you can't give up. I implore you to keep fighting. And listen, I go through these things too. I have my days when I want to give up and I don't want to do half the things that I need to do in order to be successful. But I have tell myself that I have to keep going. There's a reason why. There's reasons why I have to be present and successful when doing certain things. And just keep that in mind at all times. Listen, it's Mr. Brown. I'm your favorite not hater, giving you um, men's mental health reviews. I'm giving you government shutdown news and music tips all in one, right? Peace and love, and I will see you soon.